This video is over mean absolute deviation. Mean absolute deviation is the distance away from the mean that a set of data is. And really, we're just going to find the mean, we're going to subtract a little bit, and we're going to find the mean again. People like to call this MAD for short because that's the first letter of each word. It may drive you mad because it's quite the process, but it's not difficult. It just takes some time. So this is mean absolute deviation. We've got a sample of numbers here. We're going to find the mean absolute deviation. So the first thing you need to do is find the mean. Now to find the mean, remember that means the average. We're going to add up all the numbers and then divide by how many there are. So we're going to add 5, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 7, 8, and then divide by however many numbers there are. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're going to add them all up and then divide it by 8. So I'm going to add them a little bit at a time here. There's no right way to do this. This is 21 and that's 29. Add those together. Wow, it's 50. Okay, so I could not have made this better for myself. I just randomly chose numbers. But when you add them all up, you get 50. And then we have to divide it by 8 to find the average, right? The mean. So I'm going to divide real fast. 6, that would be 48. 2. I'm going to need to grab a calculator to do, not this division part, but later on. 8 goes into 20 2 times, which is 16. 8 goes into 45 times. It's a pretty nice number for us to have. Okay, so our mean is 6.25. So that's the average. The average out of all of those numbers is 6.25. All right, so now you're going to use this mean. You're going to take these numbers and subtract 6.25 from all of them. I'm going to scroll down just a little bit. And I'm going to rewrite my numbers. I should have done my addition off to the side, but that's okay. So I've got 5, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 7, 8. And I'm going to subtract 6.25 from each one of these numbers. Hopefully you get the point here. Kind of running out of space. All right. So I'm going to pause the video and do that real fast. All right. So you can see that I've taken all of my numbers and I've subtracted the mean from it. And I got this new set of numbers right here. All righty. So something that you need to know about these numbers is after you do your subtraction, you're going to get some negatives, possibly. If you get negatives, you're going to rewrite them as positives. So these negatives that I got, I'm going to find the absolute value of them, which means I'm going to write them as positives. So now that I've written them all as positives, I've got my numbers. Now, the last step is to find the mean of that set of data. So I'm going to, again, add all of these up and then divide by 8 because there's 8 numbers. So let's recap the steps. You're going to find the mean of the first set of data, which means you're going to add them all up and divide by how many numbers there are. Once you find the mean, you're going to subtract it from each one of the numbers individually. If you get a negative, you're going to find the absolute value, which means you're going to rewrite it as a positive. Once you have all of your new numbers, you're going to find the mean again, which means you're going to add them all up and divide by that same number that you did last time. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video again. I'm going to add all these numbers up and then divide it by 8 because there's 8 numbers to find the mean absolute deviation. All right, I added up all my numbers and I got 16. So remember, we're trying to find the average of these. So you add them all up. you get 16, and then you divide by how many numbers there are, and there's 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just making sure I didn't miss one. 16 divided by 8 gives us 2. So our mean absolute deviation is 2. And that's how you find mean absolute deviation.